I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight is Coming from Behind. And that simply means that this is a week that is going to be much more dangerous than you think. And in fact, the reason there can be so much danger is because we may not see a catastrophe until it happens, because somebody can be coming from behind. They can be coming out of some area of confinement, or they can be suddenly emerging, or it can simply be that so much pressure has been building up in one area or another that suddenly it absolutely erupts. But this is actually a much more dangerous time than it looks. One of the reasons is that we have two things happening tomorrow, both at the same time, and that is that one planet is changing direction and another planet is changing signs. And that doesn't always happen, particularly not both on the same day. But tomorrow, Mercury, the planet of the mind, is going to go retrograde or backward in its orbit, and it will be retrograde in Libra until October 9th. And so that is a time when communications can get a little bit mixed up or delayed. And generally we say when Mercury is retrograde, that is a better time to go back and finish things up, simply because it's a little easier to finish something than to get something started, due to the fact that there can be a delay or glitches in communication. So it's going retrograde, but it is joining other planets that are also retrograde. In fact, after Mercury goes retrograde tomorrow, there will be 4 planets that are all going backward at the same time, and that is really going to slow things down. Right now, Uranus is retrograde in Aries, Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn, Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, and tomorrow Mercury will be retrograde in Libra. So that simply means that as things slow down, that too can create a little bit of tension, particularly among people who are in a big hurry and don't want things to slow down. Another reason, though, that pertains to danger is because Mars is now moving to the end of Leo. Venus is there as well, but Mars is a malefic planet. It rules war, and it also rules greed and passion, and it certainly rules things going very, very quickly, and it rules sharp instruments or cutting, and as I said, it does rule war, so it can rule destruction as well. It is moving to the end of Leo, and Leo is the sign of leadership, and it is exactly now squaring Saturn in Scorpio, which is at the end of Scorpio. It is going to move into Sagittarius tomorrow. That's the planet that's going to change signs. And so right now, these two malefic planets that are in such harsh angle to each other indicate extreme danger, because they are both malefic planets. They work in different ways, though. Mars is forceful. Saturn is staunch and stubborn. And so push is going to come to shove, I think, any time now, particularly among leaders or regarding financial affairs, because Saturn is in Scorpio, which is a fixed financial sign ruling credit, debt, inheritance, insurance companies, the medical field, and all kinds of loans. And so there can be something really wrong now. And Leo rules gambling. Perhaps a gambler has lost and is going to be ruined or is broke right now. That could cause some danger and greed as well. So this is a very dangerous time. And that is because somebody could be a little broker than we all realize and really go on the warpath about that in order to make up for a shortfall. And so we have to be very, very careful. Another reason why we need to be careful, though, is because of deception. And that is because today the Sun and Jupiter are in Virgo, which rules fact-finding. And Jupiter is at 8 degrees of Virgo, but Neptune in Pisces is exactly at 8 degrees as well. These two planets are precisely opposing each other. Neptune rules deception. And remember, Pisces rules hidden enemies and all areas of confinement. And so it also could rule cover-ups or people who are sort of phony. Pisces rules the drug industry. It also rules the oil and gas industry, and it rules things that come up from underground, and of course all liquids. And so there is a nebulous planet, Neptune, being opposed by a planet of goodness and abundance in a fact-finding sign like Virgo, and push is coming to shove there as well. It certainly is possible that some sort of evil influence or an enemy can sort of come up from behind, or they can be escaping their area of confinement and really go berserk. And also, it's possible that somebody who has been pretending, or who is an imposter, or who has been very clever with a cover-up, but is actually a phony, can have their cover-up have a lot of holes poked in it by a lot of facts that are revealed. And that could create a danger as well, because they may feel trapped in the truth, actually, and that kind of exposure could make them do all kinds of things. So that can be an element of danger to all of us as well. On top of that, those 4 planets that are retrograde, which means things are going to be slowing down a lot, 3 of them are in a T-cross in cardinal signs, and they're all going backwards, or they're a little bit weaker, but they're in harsh angle to each other. And so Mercury tomorrow is going retrograde in Libra, and it is opposing Uranus, which is retrograde in Aries, and Aries rules new beginnings, Libra rules peace, and it rules the law and contracts. And both of those planets, which are harshly opposing each other, are being squared by Pluto in Capricorn, which is also retrograde, representing powerful people in government agencies or in large corporations that have the ability to make policy or change policy or enforce policy. And so Pluto is squaring Uranus, and Pluto is also squaring Mercury in Libra. And that simply means that all of a sudden there could be a peace deal that falls apart. There could be the ending of some sort of bright new beginning. There could be some sort of conflict, a power play or a conflict that simply means that something could fail as someone goes back on their word. They could break a contract, for instance. And that breaking their word could create a great deal of danger for people. And that is why this is the variety of reasons that I've presented are an indication that this is a much more dangerous time than you realize. And you have to guard everything, including possibility of identity theft. You have to guard your assets. You have to guard the things or the people that you hold dear. And if there's a little voice inside of you saying that you feel you're in a strange place or there can be a dangerous element around, then get out of there, because you could be completely right about that. And yet, if an imposter is exposed and the truth actually, that blame is placed on exactly the right person because of the truth that is revealed, that may do you some good in the end. So even though this is a dangerous time when we all have to be alert, still, I think if the truth comes out, we'll be a little bit better for knowing what it is. At least I hope so. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, yours is a cardinal sign, and so it's caught up in this T-cross of planets which are retrograde or a little bit weaker, because they're all going backwards as of tomorrow, and that includes Mercury. But they are in very harsh aspect to each other, and remember that that means there is a possibility someone could break their word, and that could nullify a new beginning. Or it can be that people are examining the results or the facts of somebody's work record. That would be the influence of the Sun and Jupiter in Virgo. And if something doesn't add up right now, then management could take a strong stand about that, and that may affect you. It also means that there's a possibility of budget cuts. And so with Pluto in Capricorn squaring your sign where you have Uranus, and Mercury, that planet of communication, in the sign of peace, Libra, opposing your sign, you can be caught in some sort of conflict where other people have a lot different opinion than you do, Aries, and that may make you feel very uncomfortable, as if you sort of want to break free yourself. you are subject to some sort of revelation that can come out about you that has remained hidden rather successfully for a long time. It may be something that you're just kidding yourself about, like a health condition that maybe you have to face right now. But Neptune in Pisces is right behind your sun, and it is under duress because it's being exactly opposed by Jupiter and the sun as well, but exactly by Jupiter today. So Aries, I think there is a probable change coming up in your life. It might be just a small change. It might be that you have to adapt to something. It also might be that you're real tired of taking orders that you don't agree with, and you may want to charge off in a new direction of your own making, and or go back to something, since Uranus is retrograde, that you left behind that now looks a lot better than it used to. So I do think there's a change coming up, because in another week there will be a lunar eclipse in your sign, Aries, and there is going to be some sort of shift or change. And so if that's what you're thinking of right now, that's good, because rather than have something be revealed from behind the scenes, maybe since your sign does rule new beginnings, it's better to sort of get a jump on something instead. So I wish you the best of luck. What does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is simply a time when I think that you do benefit if the truth is revealed, because the sun and Jupiter in Virgo are trining your sun, and Pluto in Capricorn is also trining your sun. So if a powerful person or somebody in management decides to really lay the law down and insist on following the rule book, I don't think that's going to bother you at all, Taurus, and I think that in a way it could benefit you instead, because if you have been working along just little by little, then that means your health could have improved lately, and that could be your mental attitude as well, and your bank book could have improved if you're deciding to trim costs a little bit. But if you have been extravagant, this is a time when danger could lurk. And that is because yours is a fixed sign, and the danger is among the fixed signs because Mars and Saturn are squaring each other. But Mars is also squaring your sun sign, Taurus, and Saturn is opposing it. That is why you do need to take precautions this week. You do need to be careful. And if you're living life in the fast lane, you need to get out of that real quick, Taurus, because there could be danger if you continue to do that. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, you too have to be careful, because the thing that you need to watch out for, Gemini, is deception. And that's because Neptune in Pisces is squaring your sun. So a lot of people aren't telling you things, but also you may have chosen not to pay attention to some pretty important things in your life that are behind the scenes. Little habits that are getting the best of you. Maybe you need to face those right now, Gemini. And also, the sun and Jupiter in Virgo are squaring your sun, which means you have to pay a lot more attention to the facts. Mercury in Libra is still trining your sun, but it's in a little bit of tension right now because it is in a T-square in cardinal signs. So I think this is a time when you really just need to hunker down a little bit, Gemini, and be a little bit quieter. Your sign rules conversation and gossip. This is not the time to do that, though, because there are too many other indications of deception, of something coming up from behind that we don't see that could be very dangerous. And also, there are just a lot of people with different opinions, and you don't want to get in the middle of somebody else's argument, do you, Gemini? So this is a time to really sort of hold back a little bit if you can, because it would be a lot safer for you. And that would give you time, since Mercury, your own ruler, is retrograde until October 9th, to go back and finish up a few things that you haven't done and that need to get done instead, or tie up a few loose ends. That would be a better use of your time. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, I think that this is a time when you benefit from small adjustments and truthful facts, and really checking the facts, because the sun and Jupiter are sextile your sun. That means that they are in an excellent position, particularly Jupiter, which will stay in Virgo for a whole year, for you to look things over a little bit more closely in your life. It could be the paperwork that has to do with your banking. It also could be anything that has to do with diet or nutrition, because that's what Virgo rules. Or it can be that by getting a little bit more health a little bit better health and a little bit more exercise, you could develop a better attitude about people around you, and that could help you. So in other words, self-improvement is what Virgo rules. And it is sextiling, it is a sign that sextiles your sun anyway, but Jupiter is there for the first time in 12 years, and that means that you can take small steps to steadily improve this year, and that would make you happy. Cancers like to move little by little anyway. So there can be some challenges, particularly the full moon that is coming up in Aries on the 28th could challenge you. And that is why it's better if you just take small steps and are really careful. I would guard your assets if I were you, Cancer, because there is danger around, and particularly protect your loved ones. Cancer is a very protective sign anyway. So caution is advised this week. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, your sign is where the danger is, and that is because Mars is at the end of your sign, and it is exactly squaring Saturn in Scorpio today. Saturn will change into Sagittarius tomorrow, but it is having a pretty bad effect on people who have very fixed attitudes right now, and that is because Saturn is a stubborn planet. It isn't going to budge, and it is in a financial sign. So if there are any financial problems that you have encountered this year, and if your lifestyle has been rather expensive or you're bothered by the high cost of living, then this is when you really got to face facts and cut back, Leo, because somebody is not going to budge. A creditor will not budge, or there won't be any forgiveness of debt, and that is why you have to be really careful. The Sun and Jupiter are right ahead of your sun sign. You certainly can pare down your expenses and be a little bit more frugal and manage your money just a little bit better if you try hard, and in a year that will really put you pretty far ahead. When Saturn changes into Sagittarius tomorrow, it will begin to trine your sun. And that is really going to steady you, Leo. And in fact, even if you have to make some sort of steady effort and sacrifice in the next 2 years while Saturn is trining your sun, it is going to do you an awful lot of good for the rest of your life. So this is a good time to get serious, but you are also vulnerable to danger. And that is why you need to be very, very careful this week, Leo. And if I were you, I would withdraw. The next time somebody says, let's go do something, just say, I'll see you next week, not this week. And that way you will be safer. Because I think your safety is at risk this week, Leo. That's why I hope you're going to be real careful. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time with the Sun and Jupiter in your sign strongly opposing that Neptune in Pisces, when you may be the person that has the facts and the figures to expose some sort of imposter. In other words, you have the evidence, and you probably have a lot of evidence. And so this may be a time when you decide to speak up and present your material to somebody. But if I were you, Virgo, I'd think about it a little bit. And the reason why is your ruler, Mercury, is now retrograde, or it will be tomorrow, and it will be retrograde until October 9th. You might possibly want to work a little harder at even gathering more facts and present them after Mercury goes direct, and then you would be even better prepared. So you might think about waiting something out right now, Virgo, just to be cautious. And there are 4 retrograde planets as of tomorrow, so nothing's going to happen fast anyway. You won't lose anything if you decide to be a little bit more thorough in your examination and then present something in October after Mercury goes direct. So I would use a little caution on that, because somebody is definitely not telling you the whole truth, or they're not telling somebody else the whole truth, and I think you know who that is. But I'm wondering if this is exactly the right time. I think there are too many dangerous elements going on right now, and no one is going to be able to see what's coming up behind them. They won't be able to see the danger until it happens. And that is why you should be maybe a little more cautious right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, you always have peace on your mind and diplomacy and compromise, but yours is a cardinal sign, so it is being caught up in this T-square, which means Uranus in Aries is opposing that Mercury in your sign, which is going retrograde tomorrow. So you may have second thoughts about something, or you may need to go back and tie up a few loose ends and finish things up as well, Libra. But if you are trying to work out some sort of compromise or trying to maintain the terms of a contract or a deal, other people are not willing to listen to that. They want to dominate you. They want to have everything their own way, and so they're not in a compromising mood, and so they may bolt. If they do and they leave, you are not going to miss them for a minute because they're not your type anyway, Libra. So get ready to wave goodbye to somebody, and it might even be as late as next week when there is a lunar eclipse in Aries. But, you know, they are better off out of your sphere because you are very peace-loving and quite willing to compromise, and they are not. So they're not your type, and they never were. And so that's fine. You know, we can't please everybody, Libra. So this is a time when I think the one thing you do need to pay attention to is people in authority who want to stress the rules and regulations. You better listen to that because Pluto in Capricorn is squaring your sun, and it is very well backed up by the sun and Jupiter in Virgo. And your sign is not fortified by anything. There are no planets in any of the other air signs. So, you know, you got to be a little bit tactful and careful and even withdraw a little bit this week, Libra, and just try to obey if you can, because somebody has the authority to make your life miserable. So don't give them a chance. Just say yes if you can to their demands. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time that is extremely dangerous for you. And the reason why is that you are very strong and your strength is threatening somebody else who has lost something, or they're ruined and they know that, or they have simply pushed too hard or said too much or lied too much, or they've just outspent themselves, and they can be greedy right now, or they can be terribly resentful of your strength, which has built up steadily in the last 3 years when Saturn was in your sun sign. Saturn will leave your sun sign tomorrow. It'll shift and go into Sagittarius. That'll be a big relief for you, Scorpio, and you will begin to feel better, and you will gain more strength, and you will be more rested, and some burden will lift from your shoulders, or some worry will go away. But in this next week, while Mars is still in Leo, squaring your sun sign, you need to be really careful. And if your sixth sense tells you that you are in some dangerous situation, then you need to get out of that, Scorpio, or what I would suggest you do is simply lay low and withdraw. And the reason why is that you don't have anything to apologize for. You really are strong, and you don't need to really show it right now, Scorpio, and that is because it could antagonize or egg somebody else on who is very unstable and jealous anyway. And that's why I suggest you just withdraw this week. And just remember, none of us is going to see the danger coming because it's coming from behind. And that is why we all need to be real careful. But you particularly need to guard your back, Scorpio, and your money this week. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, this is the time when you need to sort of get ready for something pretty big that is going to land on you, Sagittarius. And the reason why is that Saturn is leaving Scorpio tomorrow and coming into your sign. Jupiter and the Sun are squaring your sign already, and Neptune in Pisces is also squaring your sign. So there are going to be a buildup of planets in mutable signs now, which are always adaptable and flexible, but they're not going to be quite so much like that in the following week. And that is why you need to be prepared to carry more of a load on your own shoulders, Sagittarius. Yes, there are still planets in the other fire signs, but they're under duress, so they're not going to be much help to you, Sagittarius, and that's why you're a little bit more on your own than you have been before. And you too have got to quit kidding yourself and face facts, particularly any financial matters that need your attention, because they are not going to go away. And I think that in some way they have finally caught up with you, and you'll have to deal with them now. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is an excellent time for you. And that is not because you're not out of danger. Everybody is going to face the threat of danger this week. But it is because you are being seen so well right now. And that is because you have Pluto in your sign, which is being trine by the Sun and Jupiter in Virgo, which means small steps that you have taken to prove that you are methodical and that you are reliable and dependable are drawing new people to you who are the same way. They are very detail oriented, they are very reliable, they want to be of service to others, and they are really your type, Capricorn, and they can benefit from your expertise. That's why I think you're in a really good spot right now. There's also the possibility that there is recognition, rewards, or a promotion coming your way that may allow you to make a good investment that I think you're already thinking about. So that is why I sort of mind my own business this week, Capricorn, because if you can just be very, very careful and keep your eyes on the facts and on doing your duty, you will be in the right spot. And I think that you're going to shine this year, and it's starting now. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time when danger lurks. And you're not out of the woods, Aquarius. And the reason why is that yours is a fixed sign, and the danger is among fixed signs because they don't budge. They refuse to. And right now, Venus and Mars in Leo are opposing your sun sign. And Mars is coming up to the end of Leo, and it is squaring Saturn in Scorpio harshly, and Saturn in Scorpio is squaring your sign, and it is at the end of its sign as well. So push is coming to shove, Aquarius. I think the money's drying up a little bit for you, or that there can be credit or debt or financial problems. It may be beyond your control. It might just be that some budgets are getting cut right now, and that could affect you. But there is also an element of danger around, or animosity, or greed, or jealousy. And you need to be aware that you could be a target, Aquarius. And that is why you too need to guard yourself and your assets and step back. Your ruler, Uranus, is not only retrograde, which makes it weaker, but it is being challenged by other planets in cardinal signs. So I don't see an easy way forward for you, even though Mercury is in Libra trining your sun, because Mercury goes retrograde tomorrow. So you need to wait something out right now, Aquarius, and do not tempt fate right now. You would lose. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, you need to be really careful, and you certainly do need to face the truth, because that truth is headed right your way, Pisces. And that is because the Sun, and particularly Jupiter, which is at 8 degrees, is exactly opposing Neptune at 8 degrees in your sign. 8 is the number of success, it's the number of Scorpio, it is the number of building and of construction and of people who want to be the head of something. In other words, be the boss or the manager. And so this is a time when if you want to sort of step up, Pisces, you are going to really have to face facts, come up with details and timelines, and prove you're worth it. And so you're going to have to work extra hard right now, Pisces. And there is also the possibility that there is some health matter that you have been somewhat ignoring and that you really need to pay attention to, or there is some area of your life that you need to improve upon. And you're going to have to spend the whole next year improving upon it, Pisces, because there are some truthful facts that just can't be ignored anymore. And if you sense that there's danger around, you need to get out of there real fast, Pisces, because you might be a target, an unwilling one or a susceptible one. But still, you could be a target of deception. And that is why I wouldn't believe everything you hear this week, Pisces, and just sort of stay home if you can. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week. And remember, you can subscribe to see our show anytime you want by subscribing on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.